What if everything you knew about our planet was a lie? What if Earth wasn't a sphere, but a massive floating cube? How would gravity work? Would sunsets exist, or would they shatter into edges? And most importantly, would we still exist at all? Let's dive into a world where the laws of nature take a sharp turn. The Earth we live on today is beautifully round, but what if instead it was a perfect cube? 6 vast faces, 12 long edges, 8 sharp corners. Already, your mind might be screaming, "That's impossible." But humor me for a moment. Picture standing at the very edge of one of those corners, looking down at 2 other continents folded below you. No, this isn't Minecraft, this is physics, rewritten. Imagine watching a sunrise only to have it vanish behind a 90-degree wall. Talk about an awkward morning commute. Now, what does that do to gravity? In our spherical Earth, gravity pulls everything toward the center. Simple. But on a cube, gravity gets weird. On the center of each face, gravity would still pull us straight down. But near the edges, things begin to tilt. Water would flow, not in curves, but in torrents toward the center of each face. Mountains would warp. Oceans would slosh unnaturally. And near the corners, gravity could be pulling you diagonally. Your sense of up and down distorted. Would you even survive such a pull? We'll get to that. But first, let's see how the skies would change. In a cubical Earth, time zones wouldn't just shift, they'd snap. Each face of the cube would experience daylight differently. The sun, once smooth and dependable, would cast brutal shadows. Midday might feel like a prison spotlight. Sunset? You'd lose it behind a hard horizon, fast, abrupt, and never coming back until the cube turns. Now think, would climates still behave? Would the equator even exist? In other words, pack both sunscreen and a parka. You never know what face of the cube you'll wake up on. But all of this is just scratching the surface. What about life? Life as we know it depends on balance, climate, gravity, ecosystems. But in this world, everything's off kilter. On the flat central face, cities could thrive, maybe, but venture too close to the edge, and crops might refuse to grow. Storms would form at the edges, cyclones pulled in strange loops by gravity's twisted grip. Migration patterns? Gone. Weather forecasts? Good luck. Would evolution adapt to this new cube-shaped reality? Or would Earth remain a barren, fractured dice in a space? Let's go even deeper. A spherical Earth spins evenly. Its molten core creates magnetic fields. But a cube? Suddenly, you've got corners to contend with. Rotation becomes unstable. The core might slosh violently, triggering endless earthquakes. Magnetic poles could shift rapidly, unpredictably. Compasses? Useless. And without a stable magnetic field, cosmic radiation could bathe the surface freely. Could we even protect ourselves from the stars? Let's pull back to space. From space, a cubical Earth would appear alien, beautifully geometric, hauntingly unnatural. Astronomers across the galaxy might wonder, who engineered that? Wait, engineered? What if the cube wasn't natural at all? What if this Earth is a simulation, a relic, a forgotten experiment? We'll let that mystery linger. But before we go, one last thing. With warped days, broken physics, and a twisted sense of gravity, would humanity survive? Would we find meaning on flat plains and sharp corners? Or would we fall forever into the edges of our reality? Maybe it's not about the shape at all. Maybe it's about how we shape our world, no matter how strange. So, what if the Earth was a cube, a world of broken sunsets, sideways oceans, and infinite wonder? But one mystery leads to another. If you thought this was strange, wait until you hear about the place where time doesn't exist at all.